Broadcasting all over the world at urbanbroadcastmedia.com, delivering love and inspiration 24/7. This is UBM Praise. The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries. Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
Sir Walter Jones.
Who is it?
Sir Walter Jones.
What's his name?
Sir Walter Jones.
Whose show is this?
Sir Walter Jones.
Who is it?
Sir Walter Jones.
Say it again.
Sir Walter Jones.
Who you with?
Sir Walter Jones.
One more again.
Sir Walter Jones.
The Sir Walter Jones Show with co-host Alvin Carter. We are a Christian talk show in which we tackle all the hot topics in a believer's walk. It's Fireside Friday. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and be encouraged in the Lord.
Welcome to FilmmakerIQ.com. I'm John Hess, and today we'll look at the story of Hollywood censorship and the journey that brought us to the movie rating system we have today. Cinema is an art form born of the Industrial Revolution, a form of entertainment made possible by advancements in chemistry and mass production. Now, this is also a time of social progressivism, a movement in the United States and elsewhere in the late 19th and early 20th century that sought to bring about positive social change through active social organization and government regulation. In 1897, Maine passed the first censorship law regarding films over the sensitive subject of boxing. Prize fighting was an extraordinarily popular sport, but it was technically illegal in all but one state, Nevada. Now, March 17, 1897, the fight of the century occurred between James Colbert and Bob Fitzsimmons in Carson, Nevada. The contest was captured on film by Enoch J. Rector on over 11,000 feet of widescreen film, becoming the longest and most important film ever made at the time. Even though states had anti-prize-fighting laws, there was no law in the books about showing prize-fighting films. So just 3 days after the Colbert-Fitzsimmons fight, the Maine legislature passed a law fining anyone who exhibited boxing films a sum of $500. But the popularity of boxing was already too strong, and these laws were mostly ignored and largely forgotten. In 1907, Chicago, the second biggest film market at the time, gave the chief of police the power to issue and deny permits for movie exhibition based on moral grounds, making it one of the first municipalities to begin exercising censorship over movie content. The following year in New York City, the biggest film market at the time, Mayor George B. McClellan issued a decree on Christmas Eve, 1908, that revoked the licenses of all theaters, shutting down over 550 establishments based on fire safety and moral grounds. Movies were being hit where it hurt, in the box office. Something had to be done. The People's Institute, one of the few reform groups that didn't see movies as evil, offered up a solution. They brought together 10 other reform groups, including the Federation of Churches, the Women's Municipal League, and the Society for the Prevention of Crime, to create a new organization called the New York Board of Motion Picture Censorship. This panel of community groups would review films and recommend cuts for a small fee. Now, since the New York film market was so big, the board's influence began to take a nationwide impact, and the name changed to the National Review Board. Now, for a few years, this board was able to ward off calls for government censorship. But the tide for government intervention was strong, with many states enacting their very own censorship boards. And then came the landmark decision of Mutual Film Corporation v. Ohio Industrial Commission in 1915. Mutual was a newsreel corporation that objected to having to pay fees to various state censorship boards and then wait weeks or months before their newsreels were approved. They filed on First Amendment grounds, but the Supreme Court didn't buy it and declared that, quote, the exhibition of moving pictures is a business, pure and simple, originated and conducted for profit, not to be regarded as part of the press of a country or as organs of public opinion. With that 1915 decision, the movies were not legally considered free speech, thus handing the government the legal rein to implement laws over the content of film. The powder keg of censorship was set. All was needed was a spark, and it would come in the form of scandal. The early 20s were rocked by Hollywood celebrity scandals, from Fatty Arbuckle's unsubstantiated charge of rape and manslaughter, William Desmond Taylor's murder with homosexual undertones, and Wallace Reed's drug overdose. The yellow journalism tabloids hungrily fed at what looked to be a bloated corpse of spoiled Hollywood excess. Pressure was mounting for someone to clean up Hollywood, with over 100 congressional bills for censorship to protect the common good being submitted in 1921. But censorship from Washington was the last thing Hollywood wanted. So Hollywood studios came together in 1922 to form an association called the Motion Pictures Producers and Distributors of America, the MPPDA. In a move that mimicked the actions of Major League Baseball after the 1919 World Series gambling scandal, the MPPDA reached out to a Washington insider, William H. Hayes, Postmaster General under Warren Harding and former head of the Republican National Committee. Paid a handsome sum of $150,000 a year, Hayes' task was really just PR, to relieve the pressure between Hollywood and Washington and lobby for the interests of the studios. In 1927, Hayes formed a committee of studio heads to create a list of don'ts and be carefuls, based on lists of items that were commonly rejected by local censorship boards. These included 11 subjects that were to be totally taboo, and 25 that had to be handled very delicately. But this list was short-lived, as it didn't have any real teeth. The issue of censorship in Hollywood raged on, but now was fueled by a brand new movie technology: sound.
Hello, everybody. Sir Walter Jones of the Sir Walter Jones Show. It's Friday, Fireside Friday, right here in the great land of Chicago. No, this is not Chirac. This is Chicago. It is a great town. It's wonderful. It is, they call it Second City. And believe it or not, it is the #1 tourist spot outside of New York. Yes, and we have the most theaters, or you want to go downtown and see a nice little stage play, what have you. We are #2 to New York. That's right. We got big bucks, big dollars. Y'all hear Chirac, you hear murders and crimes. That's only a minority. So those of you who are looking to come somewhere really nice and pleasant and decent and all that good stuff, come to Chicago. I'm not running for mayor, no. But I guess I could have won by giving that intro. Yeah. Somebody on the phone for me already? Girl, I ain't even started the show yet. Who was this on the phone?
What time do you want me to call in, Walter?
Lord have mercy. This woman, I told this woman, I said, nah, you call me the next time. Call me the same time you did last week. This woman called at 4:08. I couldn't even get my coffee ain't even went down my intestines yet.
Walter.
Yes,
I'm
dear.
out in the field. I will call back at 4:30. I can't see my inbox. So I'll
Okay, all right. We're going to do this again. Yeah, call me back at 4:30.
Okay, will do.
Bye. That's my guest, y'all. The great Tamara Miles, that is. She was Mills, now she's Miles. Yeah, we're very spontaneous on this show. We just do whatever on the air. We don't care. We don't press the pause for nothing. But the file that you just heard, an audio file, is something that we play, that I want to play because today's topic is, what is the gay agenda on TV? There is a gay agenda we talked about last week. Go to Spreaker.com if you want to hear the show from last week about the gay agenda, generally, just the gay agenda. Well, we had Tamara, who gave us some wonderful insights on her testimony about being a lesbian and the Lord delivering her overnight. And we talked about the gay agenda in America. Today we want to focus specifically on TV. Now, let me upset some of you, as I usually do every night. The gay agenda has always been around us, all right? The oldest profession in the world is the woman of the night. Sometimes y'all call her dominatrix, harlot and whoredom, and y'all use the word hoe, and all these new and old terms. But prostitution, and now it has turned into a word called human trafficking. These words, these professions, as they want to call it, is the oldest profession, is what they call it, and it's been around since the days of Adam and Eve. Okay. Homosexuality has been around just as long. It is not new. It didn't just pop up in America all of a sudden over the past couple years. And it didn't just pop up on Bewitched when Uncle, whatever his name was kind of questionable. All right. It's been going on for thousands of years. And then when America came on the scene, do not be surprised to find out that possibly some of our American presidents were questionable. Those in Congress, questionable. Senators, and from the early days, okay, questionable. Even the FBI man himself, cross-dresser. He was always with a dude. They lived together, okay, questionable. And a lot of these men were afraid to come out because it was a career killer if you did come out. But from the audio file that I played, notice that what we want to do, we want to talk about the obscenity of what we saw on television. It's called censorship. Censorship came along a little later on in media. It started early, then it went away, then it had to come back, and it came back with fierce. Many of you say that a lot of morality on TV didn't start off, that immorality didn't start off in the early days of TV and motion picture. Because prior to motion picture, we had what we call silent movies, okay? And then sound came along, as you heard from the bite that we just played, and they called them talkies, okay? In the silent movies, anything went. All things went. And then the censorships had to kick in. Again, you heard the history that we gave you. And then some of you saying it wasn't like this all the time. There were strict morals. Well, yes, there were some strict morals, but some things got through. All right? Many of you are upset about seeing a lot of gay characters on your television screens today. Well, let me help you out with something very interesting that you should be more upset about. And number two, why this is part your fault. It's part your fault. And if you're Christians and if you churchgoers, it's part your fault. Here's why. There have always been immorality on your TV. We laugh and we join in when two couples are kissing on television. One is married to someone else, and the other one is married to someone else, and they came together and they had sex in beds. This didn't just happen in our decade. This has been going on all the way back to As the World Turns and General Hospital and Days of Our Lives, and and all these shows, daytime soap operas, and then nighttime soap operas with Dallas and all these other shows, nighttime shows back in the 70s, okay? There has always been immorality on TV. There has been murders, there's been liars, there's been adulterers and fornicators. But you said nothing. You did not write to Congress. You did not go down to the TV stations, the production offices. You did not bombard those places. What you did was you sat in front of those televisions and you cried with them. You laughed with them. You might even turned your face when you saw two men, not two men, but a woman, because you didn't see two men on TVs until later on. But when you saw a man and a woman, doing things, and they were married to other people, you said, you know what? We'll get past that, but this is a good show. You did not write a letter or nothing. But as soon as you start seeing something detestable to your eyes, which seems to be very unnatural to your eyes, two men and two women on your TV screen kissing, then it became horrible to you. Now you're upset. But you allowed. I remember seeing little foxes run around my feet And I ignored it, but then the Lord said, pay attention to the foxes around your feet. It's those little foxes that's going to cause problems. You keep ignoring them, but them little foxes are going to turn into big lions, okay? And then I was caught in a trap and that I couldn't get out. And what we do is we ignore the elephant that's in the room. It's those little seeds that's planted on our TV screens. We say, that's innocent. That's innocent, until we see the big one. It's too late because you were so quiet. The Bible says, while man was asleep, the enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Now what y'all are trying to do is trying to pluck the tares away from the wheat. But what you're doing is you're picking up the wheat while you're trying to pluck up the tare. And you can't do it. And God says, you're not qualified to do it. I'm going to have to do it when I come again. Censorship has come in and tried to set some of the morals of our television screens, and it has unfortunately it was trying to do a good work, and it was working a little bit, but no matter how hard they tried, those who are in power fought against it, and here's what we have today. A friend of mine posted something very interesting on my Facebook wall a couple days ago. I think it was my friend Brown, and I want to find that as I flick these pages because it was a here it is. It's called a teacher's contract. It's a term from 1923. This is from Matthew Brown. And this is all about censorship and what was deemed moral back then and how things have changed considerably. It says this is an agreement between Miss, you fill in the name, teacher, and the Board of Education of the, let's say, the Chicago Public Schools, whereby Miss So-and-so agrees to teach in the so-and-so school for a period of 8 months, beginning September 1st, 1923. The Board of Education agrees to pay Miss So-and-so the sum of $75 per month, and Miss So-and-so agrees. Here's number 1. She is not to get married. This contract becomes null and void immediately if she marries. Number 2, not to keep company with men. Number 3, to be at home between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless in attendance at school functions. Number 4, not to loiter in downtown ice cream stores. This is real, y'all. I've seen these laws in the books. Number 5, not to leave town at any time without the permission of the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Number 6, not to smoke cigarettes. This contract becomes null and void immediately if the teacher is found smoking. Number 7, not to drink beer, wine, whiskey. This contract becomes null and void immediately if the teacher is found drinking beer, wine, or whiskey. Number 8, not to ride in a carriage or automobile with any man except her brother or her father. Number 9, not to dress in bright colors. Number 10, not to dye her hair. Number 11, to wear at least 2 petticoats. Y'all know what a petticoat is. You women do, the men don't know what that is. Number 12, not to wear dresses more than 2 inches above the ankle. Number 13, to keep the schoolroom clean. A, to sweep the classroom floor at least once daily. B, to scrub the classroom floor with hot water and soap at least once weekly. C, to clean the blackboard at least once daily. And D, to start the fire at 7 a.m. so the room will be warm at 8 a.m. when the children arrive. So y'all know this was not a today school for number 1. Number 2, this is probably a little small school board, a little schoolhouse in the South. Maybe it might be a schoolhouse here up north because just because we were up north doesn't mean that certain areas, territories had gas and lights and what have you. Again, this is 1923. Although we had those amenities, but there's some suburbs kind of came along a little later on. All right, this was morality back in that time, and a lot of it seemed very strict. Okay, thank you, Michael Brown, for posting this. A lot of this seemed very strict for who you are today, but in that time to have petticoats, okay, or you couldn't even be around men and telling you to scrub the floors or your contract is null and void. That was around that time. What the world was trying to say was that we believe in morality, and a lot of the people of the world at that time, they were not staunch believers. I mean, they wasn't going to church every week, but there was a code of ethics that Americans had. They dressed up to even go to the beach. They wore full suits. Women wore dresses to go to the beach or go for a walk or what have you. They dressed up when they went to dinner. They dressed up when they went to dinner in their own homes. You sat at the table. If you go and look at Leave It to Beaver, Fathers Knows Best, and all these shows of the 1940s and 50s and 60s, you see how they dressed. Father come home on a suit. Mama comes to the door, and he says, "Honey, I'm home," and she's got her Sunday's dress on with pearls. Okay, this was the American home at that, and some of it might seem to be highlighted, but this was the average American home at that time. They believed in this thing. So something happened on our TV screen that I say the more things change, the more things stay the same. Gays kissing on our television is only the outcome of what we ignored when we were coming up watching the other sins and immoral acts on our TV. That's all this is. Gays kissing on our TV is not new. It's just new to your eyes, but sin is sin. Bad behavior is bad behavior, and Scripture is putting homosexuality with lying and murders and all these other things. They all are detestable in God's eyes. Now, I will say, though, that one is a stronger hold than another, because there's some people who lie and they say, I need to stop, and I'll stop. Okay, I'll stop. And some people can. But then there are those who are living a gay lifestyle who it's absolutely hard for them to move out of that lifestyle, because that I consider a stronghold. And many of my constituents agree with me. It is a stronghold. And it's going to take God himself to clean that up from a person. And this is why the average gay would tell you, y'all got to stop this trying to lay hands on me to cast this demon out of me and having these reparative ministries to pray the gay away. And all. They telling you I'm born this way. Well, I don't believe that they're born this way, just like a liar's not born this way, or the murderer's not born this way, although I'm going to flip that by saying all men are born in sin. So they're liable to do anything, including lie, murder, or have these urges of gayness, because when Adam sinned in the garden, all things happened. All things. Sin hit the world. Jesus died, and then it says by his stripes we are healed. But that wasn't a physical healing. That was a spiritual healing. Believe it or not, people. You can disagree with me all you want to, but if this was the case, that it was a physical healing, we all are still sick. We're dying of cancer and high blood, low blood, and all these other bloods. And then you wonder, well, how is this possible that Christ died, and I thought by his stripes we're healed? Well, it's because it's a spiritual healing. It can transfer over into the natural healing, yes, and we'll have to do another show on that, okay? So I'm going to give you a list and historical insight on censorship and why is it that America is playing a part in this whole homosexual agenda. Tamara Miles will come on and join me with this as well. But the gays are a strong force, and we got to focus on two groups, okay? One group is called the GLAAD, G-L-A-A-D, GLAAD. You guys can go there, be glad to go there, .com, and you will see, and I'll talk about them in a minute, and then the LGBT community. Now, let's focus on that, though, the LGBT community, okay? Now, here's another deceptive factor here, because what I'm going to do is they have a rating system that they rate ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and all of the cable stations. They rate them to see how many gays are on those stations, and they try to press and push and write letters to find out how much more of the gays can they get on those shows, because they got the laws changed. So why not and put them on TV in the media? You say they shouldn't do that. Well, what they're trying to say to you is African Americans did it, because every time we turned around, the popular shows that are on TV was 99.99% white. Okay, most popular shows, and there might be one token guy in there. He played some minuscule, he was a subservient. Okay, he was a maid or she. She or he was some supporting actor that kind of demeaned his character. He was the first one that got shot in movies. Okay, he's always, and if you wanted to write the Bible story and put it in a movie or what have you, it was the black characters that were always the slave.
They were always in the background.
They were always in the background. Okay,
Dad, look, there's the Nubians.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That the voice you hear is Art Lewis. Yeah. So what the LGBT community says, listen, you guys got more black characters now playing prominent roles. We want them too. And they put the fear in media just like they put the fear in the governor of Indiana, as we talked about last week. So there are 19 shows the LGBT viewers can't miss this fall. This is an article by Advocate.com. And you know Advocate is not a straight website, by the way. I have to go over here and these, fools rush in where wise men fear to tread. So I have to search a lot of the gay paraphernalia in order for me to understand who they are. And they're not enemies of ours. They're people like we. They've got red blood going through their veins like we do. But we look at them as the nastiest people on the earth. And I can't understand. I do understand why we treat them that way, but I can't understand why we can't focus on, again, those little foxes in our houses that's running around our feet.
True.
Yeah.
And see, what a lot of people don't understand, they want to act as though this is something really relatively new, especially in the black communities. And I'm like, that's just not so. People just did what they did and pretty much kept it to themselves, but our parents knew.
Yes.
We didn't know, but our parents definitely knew. Yeah. We knew that there may have been something different about, Mr. So-and-so and Mr. whoever it was that lived together down the way, but we never said anything. Well, parents never said anything in front of us. And, God, I always forget this guy's name that was very prominent in organizing and setting things up for Martin Luther King. And the only reason he had to drop out was because J. Edgar Hoover stepped up and said, we're going to expose him. We're going to out him. And Martin was going to but it don't matter. He's done too much for the thing. And this man decided the movement is larger than I am.
Sure.
I was like, but you had them all through the place. The brother upstairs on the painting, the literary guy with the big eyes. I can't remember his name, but I was like, you look at him, and then I've seen some footage of him doing debates, and I was like, how could you not know he wasn't gay? Right. But they would attribute to various different things. But then you have people like Liberace, who was just right out in front of him. So this has been going on for a long time. But people are like, what? Liberace was gay? Yes. Yeah, George. Yeah. So, I said, this is nothing new. It's been coming for a very long time. And then the ball was the snowball was halfway down the hill when Bill Clinton said, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. All of this is a setup. And again, we got cataracts in our eyes. We who are Christians, we got cataracts. And I just told a young man today on Facebook, because we were talking about this situation about mental illness, what have you. And I told him that one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit that we should be praying to God for, although the Holy Spirit gives to us freely, one is a discerning of spirits, because a lot of us want to speak in tongues, a lot of us want to lay hands on people, a lot of us want to prophesy, but we walk in these churches and we don't even know the spirit of a man, and it's sad. So we look at something that looks funny, but we don't know how to read it, okay? And we should have the power to be able to read certain people and find out, okay, you know what, there's something, this man either got a demon in him or he just have a chemical imbalance, he needs medicine, one of the two. You still need to pray for him regardless, but you should be able to decipher between one or the other. What is going on? All gays were not molested. That is a misnomer. Is that the word? That is not true. All gays were not molested. There are many of them had this urge that came over them early in life that they wanted the same sex, and this thing happened. And we'll talk about that further. Okay, know who you're trying to fight. All right, know who they are. I want to hear some Walter Hawkins to kind of soothe me a little bit here, so that I can get back on track. I want to hear "Dear Jesus, I love you." I need to hear some Jesus after that first half hour. We'll be right back. Sir Walter Jones Show.
Log on to urbanbroadcastmedia.com and check out the many services Urban Broadcast Media provides. Whether it's social media, video production, radio broadcasting, or audio recording, we got you covered. The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries. Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
Dear Jesus, I Love You, Walter Hawkins, 1975, Love Alive, Light Records. Great project, great inspirational music. Love to play. Go to Spreaker.com if you want to hear the Walter Hawkins tribute that we did. We've got on our phone Tamara Miles, who is back with us from last week. How you doing, girl?
I'm fine. I'm bothered that I missed the first half hour. It sounded like that was kind of good.
Oh, well, I kind of went there alone. I rolled solo, and I was upsetting myself as I was talking. I was like,
I can understand it. I've spoken with you a time or two.
I was fussing at myself and upset at the same time. Yeah, you're doing good. Are you back off the road, or have you settled in?
No, I'm actually in traffic, so it's fine. I've been out in the field all day.
Oh.
I'm on my way home, so I'm good.
Okay, good. I want to play this thing here that you sent me in my inbox. Now,
okay.
I edited it, Tamara.
Okay.
It's called Confused Gay.
Okay.
It's what I call it. Okay, Confused Gay. And you're going to be impressed at how much I edited. It took me a while.
Okay.
Because she was cussing like a sailor. Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Oh, my God. She was cussing like a sailor. But I want you guys to hear how someone can be in a lifestyle and they be so confused in that lifestyle. Okay? And I want you guys to understand that it's not just the gays who can be confused. It's anybody who's living a lifestyle that is questionable or that God doesn't find pleasing to his sight. You also can be caught up in it. It becomes bondage to you. You are prisoner to it, and you can be confused to the point where God will turn you over to a reprobate mind. So this young lady you hear her very closely. Hear the words that she's saying, and she's very serious. Some of you might laugh at this, but this is the world she live in. Okay? You ready, CC? Here we go.
People think I'm gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I don't be on no gay. I'm a lesbian. Gay is when two studs. What you mean? Like that's gay as two studs for each other? Like really? Really? Like y'all going past gay. Like y'all going extremely gay. Y'all going too gay. Like I don't know. Like y'all really like literally jumped over the rainbow and just got stuck on some gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like double sinning. It's already a sin when you're a lesbian, which I am. Everybody's sin. God died for our sins. That's what it says. God didn't die to double sin for us to double sin. You know what I'm saying? I play that lesbian, but that gay kill me with that. I don't be on that. Like, straight world probably confused. Like, okay, like, for instance, you straight, right? You and your nigga been before marriage. Most of y'all, not everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's a sin before marriage. You sinning already. But that's a normal sin. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you're allowed to do that, but it's just normal. It's a normal sin. It's a common sin. But if you go in double sin, like you trifling, like I hope you catch something. Double sinning is when you go multiple niggas. Like you got a nigga and you going around the corner to go for multiple niggas. That's double sinning. If you're going to sin, you sin the right way, not the wrong way. I'm sinning the right way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I'm gay. That's a sin. And I go, you know what I'm saying, a few other gay, they films. But guess what? I'm sinning the right way. I would never double sin. I would never go and go to the other side. Like, they went to the other side of the rainbow. I'm not with that. Like, that's double sinning. You know what I'm saying? Miss me with that. Know the difference between gay, lesbian, sin, and double sin. I know my difference.
That's, Tamara?
Yes.
When you first heard that, you heard the expletives when you sent it to me, of course.
Right.
And what was your thought on this young lady? And is this common or not common at all?
Well, first of all, I said she's a damn fool. That was the first thing I said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't feel bad.
Turn her up, because I remember when I was listening to this back. Yeah, is she already?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So what she's saying is she's saying that a stud being with a stud is not the norm, and it's really not for African American lesbians each way. That works in the white community, but black women don't deal with studs.
Right.
So in her mind, you're double sinning because not only are you a lesbian, but you don't went gay.
Right.
That's the way, in her mind. Makes no sense to me.
Right.
It's all the same. I don't know what rainbow she's referring to that they jumped over, but what got me about that video, Walter, was the fact that she said, "I know I'm sinning, but I'm sinning the right way, and I ain't double sinning."
Yes.
Okay, that is the I had that same thing.
Wow.
Thing.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like I know I'm wrong. I just had this conversation with Eric yesterday for about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that she's wrong, but then there's something within her that's telling her that if she goes and messes with a stud, she is double sinning.
Double sinning.
Now, right now, and then the other part when she says it's normal for a heterosexual couple to have sex before they're married, but it's double sinning if you mess around with more than one person. See, she doesn't. She's all over the place.
Sure.
But like she said, I know I'm sinning. That's what's the craziest thing to me, how we know we're sinning, but we make it all right. And Walter, I did that for years.
Wow.
I made it all right.
Yeah.
So, she's confused.
She is confused, absolutely, and that's why I say she's not the only one.
Right, because that's not uncommon.
Right.
And see,
No,
that's
it's
not
not.
something that's relegated to the homosexual
That's right.
community, because
That's right.
you have people. What it is sinning with limits.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
I sin, but I sin with limits.
With limits.
And you hear a lot of preachers who will preach from the pulpit.
Yeah.
And you even see them state this on Facebook. Well, at least it was with a woman and not a man.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm like, does that really make a difference?
And this is the thinking. And again, one thing that's moral to you is different morality to me. And it's amazing how the first century church had all things in common. They believed the same thing. Fast forward 2,000 years later, and that same group in the first century church would be laughing at us. Y'all are divided on gays and marriage, really?
Oh, man, you have people right now arguing with Paul about what he wrote, what he meant about what he wrote.
Christians are doing that. Okay?
Yes, I know.
Oh, it is amazing. The Bible says the way of a transgressor is hard, and he is unstable. He don't know where to go, and that's why Romans 1. Some of those of you who have not read the entire chapter of Romans 1, you need to read the entire chapter, because it explains who this woman is that you hear on this. You just heard in that audio bite. It's talking about her.
And you know what she has the audacity to do?
What's that?
Judge.
Yeah, and to judge. Yeah, to judge. And right. And the judging part is another problem in our Christian walk, because many who walk in sin because they want to walk in sin, pretty much. They want to do it because I've sinned because it's a choice a lot of times.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Actually, yeah, it is a choice.
It is a choice. You choose to do it. You don't
Right.
have to do it. You just choose to do it. You gave in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you gave in to your own lesson. You did it. That's just the way it is. Okay, we've all have been guilty of that. But the sad thing about that is the leading of others into that lifestyle. Not just gays. I'm talking about just in a sin lifestyle. The fight is on the judging part when the person, the first thing they say to you is, "Don't judge me." Okay, that's the first thing they say. That is the national anthem of purpose-driven sinners. Purpose-driven sinners is "Don't judge me." Okay, and they'll always try to quote from Jesus. All right, but then when out of their mouth they'll say, "Don't judge me," and in that conversation they will spend a lot of time judging you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and it's like. It's amazing how we twist our tongues, but Jesus, what he was really saying is, you can't, if you're going to judge someone, you can't judge them when you're doing the same thing. So it says judge them with the right measure of judging, okay?
Correct.
So if I'm a homosexual, I can't judge another homosexual. That you can't do it. So he says, before you take the little...
the moat out of your neighbor's eye.
You take the log cabin out of your...
Yeah, for real. Get that wall out of there.
But notice it says, now we have to read this contextually. He says before.
Right.
So does that mean that you will be able to do it eventually?
The thing about people of the modern era is not also understanding the history of language and its uses. Judging has a twofold thing
Yes.
in the Bible. There's judging when you assess. You assess, does this line up with this, that, and other?
Exactly.
And then there's the judging that brings about a solution
Right.
or remedy to this, which is exacting punishment. Far as we are able to take it is assessment. But people want to take it to the point of condemnation.
Yes.
And bring it about, you need to pay for this, you need to suffer for what you're doing.
Right.
And they're like, but I know for a fact that you're sleeping with, your deacon's wife, Mother Plumtree's. You like get sleeping with her son, and you're like, then you have to go like a little scratch across the record. What? Wait a minute, he's sleeping with a wife and a son?
Sure.
Yeah, but you out here going ahead throwing fire and brimstone at everyone else.
Absolutely. And Tamara, the whole love thing, okay? The average gay will tell you or those who are proponents of gay rights or what have you, because I know a lot of straight Christians who say leave the gays alone. Okay? All right? And in some cases, they might be correct because it depends on who they're telling that to.
Right.
All right? So they saying you guys are not showing love. And that is a weapon that's used against us by saying you're not showing love. So now you got to define what love is, because what we do is we try to preach we try to preach love of God to people, and then what they hear is God loves me regardless of what I do, so I can continue to do it, and God will continue to love me. All right. Now the problem with that is you're going to fall into the bucket of what's called inclusion,
Right.
which Carlton Pearson has fell in, and it got a lot of us falling into. So what I do is I try to preach the gospel of love coupled with the gospel of behavior. Yeah, because God's love, he says love me, then he says then keep my commandment. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Now we got to find out what the commandment is.
But as a good parent, and I stress the word good parent, you love your child unconditionally.
Yeah.
But there are some things that your child will do or may do that are just unacceptable.
Yep.
And we have to have that ideology when we think about ourselves in relationship to God. God loves us in spite of
That's right.
our sin. Not going to love us anyway because we happen to be sinning, but he loves us in spite of it. But we will take things. And generally, the way we take it is through our mindset. When we start trying to excuse what it is that we do,
Yeah.
when we know that it's wrong, well, God will love me anyway.
He goes
Really?
anyway. Then so it falls under that grace thing, and we keep riding on the wings of grace. And the Bible says, how much more will grace abound? I love you, I have grace on you, but I'm gonna love you all the way to hell. Basically, that's basically what God is saying. I'm going to love you all the way to hell.
But see, the thing, he says, if you love me, you will obey my command.
Yeah.
So he's going to love us, but if we love him, we're going to do what he's asked us to do.
Thank you.
So that's the difference. That is where people, they change that word.
Yeah.
If, and that changes the entire dynamic
Right.
of what Jesus Christ said.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
That's good. It does change the entire dynamic. Matter of fact, one scripture was saying that we were adulterers, and so I used to read that, says, "Oh wow, sleeping with another woman." No, he wasn't talking about that. He's talking about spiritual adultery. What he was saying was, he's saying
giving somebody else what I'm supposed to be
yep,
getting.
you love with the world. You love with me, but you're messing around with the world. So he says you are adulterers, and then he says, "Yep, there you go." So here are some shows here. 19 shows that this website is saying from the Advocate says that you can't miss this fall. And now I'm gonna break down the acronym. If that's what it's called, LGBT. Is that called acronym?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna break this down, and you help me out.
Well, actually, those are initials. Acronym would be like FUBAR. No. Wait a minute. We got to find another. We got to get initials that make up a word.
FUBAR, Lord, you went deep back in the 80s.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. That is true in acronym. It makes up a word.
Right.
Okay, well, this can make up a word.
Yeah.
Okay. It says here, if you're like us, you've been jonesing for new TV shows or waiting for your old-fashioned favorites to return from summer hiatus. Okay, from new shows breaking ground by being the first feature. Now, here's the so-called acronym featured in the LGBTIQ
What's the I
characters.
for?
I'm going there.
I don't know what the I is.
Oh, I'm about to tell y'all. Characters in their genre on the small screen to longtime favorites and everything between. Okay, yes, and then what it does is it gives us.
That's a mouthful.
It's like that Jordache commercial. I have nothing in between me and my. Who was that? Who was that actress?
Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields. Okay,
When she was 15 years old.
right. Okay, you got Red Band Society, you got The Good Wife, you got Gotham, which have several gays in that. And it's all the gays on this show is all women. It's 4 of them, okay?
In Gotham?
Gotham, yes. The Voice, you got Modern Family, of course. We got Faking It. Okay, these are all popular shows. Now, here's what I want to say about the LGBT. We're gonna just call it acronym just for the sake of yeah. Okay, now watch this. It was LGB. Okay.
It keeps increasing.
Added the T.
Mm-hmm.
Then what they did was they added a Q.
Mm-hmm.
And then the I's popped up, says we want some too. Yes. So they added the I before the Q. Now y'all know what's gonna happen. What's gonna keep happening, right?
They're gonna have elemental P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, because here's what's gonna happen. Now we're being set up like the Roman Empire. You know, they imploded. They didn't explode. They implode.
Yeah.
Okay.
As did the Greeks.
Yeah, they imploded. All right. For the same reason.
Especially the Greeks.
Yes, because we are the United States of Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm telling y'all. And y'all are on Facebook and y'all talked about the pedophilia rate in homosexuality.
I didn't. Y'all did.
Okay. Remember? Art?
Yeah.
I just asked the question.
Now, I read a statistic that says over 50%, maybe 60% of
So
pedophiles.
Next letter's going to be P.
Thank you, sir. It's going to be P.
Because they're going to say that it's not.
Yes.
If it's not a mental disorder, and it's a natural form of preference.
Yes.
I mean, it has to.
They can go that route, but there's one thing they cannot get away from. Lesbians, gays, transgender, everything else, all these other kind of good people, they have to be of consensual age in order to partake or do whatever it is they're trying to do. Now, the pedophiles, they can't do what they do with someone of a consensual age.
Sure. No, I hear what you're saying. And
that's why the laws will change.
And I'm gonna break.
Because there's a kid who got 15 years for stat rape because he was 17, the girl was 15, and she performed fellatio. He didn't make her, but the law gave credence for that ruling. Now, if they appeal it or when they appeal it, I don't know if it has because no one kept up with the case because it's been some time ago. The fact of the matter is laws may not be right. It just may be legal. And there's a huge difference between that.
You're right.
And what you're saying right now is correct. But that doesn't mean it won't change.
That's my point.
But
exactly.
I understand, but this, well, I'm assuming this is the reason you're bringing this up, so that those who are of a rational mind,
rational mind, yes.
Okay, rational.
They're gonna fight for it.
Because you have people in high places who like, how should I say, a foie gras.
Yeah,
I understand you got people who like that, but what person is gonna say, okay, you can do my child?
The same people.
Plenty.
No, but who's gonna? I know you've had some.
Take my wife, please.
No,
and my daughter too.
No,
my baby too.
No,
you mean in a real normal world? You talking about?
No, there is no such thing.
I couldn't say because that's
but in
utopia.
But you have very people that will go ahead and actually sell outright and saying, okay,
man, yeah. That's been happening for years.
I know that.
People been pimping their babies for years.
Absolutely.
But that's not the format. That's not necessarily
that's not the normal. That's why I said the normal world. It's not normal.
No, it's not. No, that's not sane.
Yeah, it's not sane, but it's not normal.
That's the whole point.
We're working with.
If that's insane,
into the common.
But if that's insane, the connection to the root of this all is not insane. Is not sane either.
No. It's not.
That's exactly the point.
They figured out a way to face each other now.
I know too many women up in their 40s and 50s who said that daddy raped me over and over again, and mama says no, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Which I brought that
over
point
and
out
over
too.
again. Okay, now they were saying they didn't wait till they were 50 to tell mama. They was telling mama why that was going on, and your dress was too short.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. Okay, so this is happening in our houses.
Been born a boy.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And then we got human.
Me too, mama.
The slaves of America was sold by their own people. Many of them, okay, in the transatlantic trade or whatever.
Yes.
We were sold by our brothers. Okay, so a lot of this human trafficking is sold by their own family members. I know mothers who says, I don't want this baby anymore.
Yeah.
And they want to buy crack, so they sell their kid for crack and all kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I believe I also told the story. Oh, maybe I did or not. I don't know. But the father who raped his sons, because in the event, because they're black, in the eventuality of them maybe going to jail, they'll know how to take it or defend themselves.
Yeah,
this is something.
What friends you got?
No, this was years ago, and it wasn't and what makes it so bad, he encouraged this type activity between the brothers. He had 4 sons, and then I heard 2 brothers wrestle around, and I got older brothers, and they used to fight. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming that's what it is, what's going on with them. Mm-hmm. And the guy, I was friends with the youngest, and he was like, and I'm going like, man, yeah. I'm like, I understand. And when I said I understand, he misunderstood what I understood about. And then this is how I found out what was going on. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Okay, well, I think my mom's calling me. I need to go home.
Yeah. Well, let me read this before I go to this break, because these breaks are coming real fast.
And the mama was allowing it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's our acronym. LGBT.
She probably didn't like it, so she let him do them. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
LGBTIQ. Okay. The first one is gay. Although L is the first one, we're gonna stick with gay right now. Generally refers to a male who is physically, emotionally, and or spiritually attracted to other males. This is what this is saying. May also refer to females who are attracted to other females, as well as the gay community in general. So notice they call men gay. Okay. Mm-hmm. L is lesbian. A female who is physically, emotionally, and or spiritually attracted to other females. Okay. Now, are you agreeing so far, Tamara?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, B is bisexual. A person who is physically, emotionally, and or spiritually attracted to persons of the same or opposite sex.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I thought it was me, because I used to buy sex all the time.
Yeah, use it. Okay. All right. Intersexual. That's what the I stands for. Intersexual.
Intersexual.
Yes. Person born with mixed sexual physiology.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We call them. Yeah. Call them. They got another word for it. It'll come to me in a minute. A sex is often
hermaphrodites.
Yeah, hermaphrodites. I think it's called.
Right. No, I had a cousin who was born that way,
and they don't use it anymore because they say it's politically incorrect.
Okay,
so they call it intersex. That's the new word. A sex is often assigned at birth, though this practice is under attack as violating one's well-being. And we tried to talk about this last year on the show, and some of my guests on the show said, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know nothing about that. I'm like, well, you the wrong guest.
I wish my cousin was still living. But I had he's my second cousin who was born with both.
Yeah.
And they assigned him the male. Mm-hmm. But the older he got, the female just emerged out.
There you go. And that was the study.
Under fire.
That's right. They says, don't you assign it. You let that person decide naturally what will happen to them.
Yeah, because majority of the people would choose,
go the other way.
They would choose male,
that
was my godmother was a CNA to a young boy who was going through this, and he was telling them he felt more female than male, but because his member was so endowed, you got to be a man.
Yeah. This last one is questioning. That's what the Q is for. Questioning. An individual who is currently questioning his or her gender or sexual identity. Now, you see how much of a trick of the devil this is. Mm-hmm. Okay? They added a Q because he don't know what he is. Okay?
He don't know what he is?
He don't know what it is. So he's questioning it. He's like the atheist opposed to the...
I thought it was queer. But it's like
no.
I thought it was queer, too.
Yeah.
I thought it was queer.
It says questioning. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because most of them are curious when they don't know
They're
what they're
curious.
curious.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have transgender, transsexual, and then androgenic transvestite.
Androgynous? What does androgynous mean?
It says a person who relates strongly to neither the male or female gender. Crossdresser.
David Bowie.
Person who enjoys wearing clothes identified with that.
Oh, Dennis Rodman.
Pretty much.
David Bowie back in the day.
Okay, there's more. Coming out. The other one is outing. Closeted. Homophobia. Okay, that's all other stuff. Okay, all right, I gotta go to this break because Cece's playing this music. She's like, shut up. Let's go to a place. Walter Hawkins. We need to go to a place. Out of this place. Sir Walter Jones Show.
Broadcasting all over the world at urbanbroadcastmedia.com, delivering love and inspiration 24/7. This is UBM Praise. The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries. Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
Sir Walter Jones.
Who is it?
Sir Walter Jones.
What's his name?
Sir Walter Jones.
Whose show is this?
Sir Walter Jones.
Who is it?
Sir Walter Jones.
Say it again.
Sir Walter Jones.
Who you with?
Sir Walter Jones.
One more again.
Sir Walter Jones.
The Sir Walter Jones Show with co-host Alvin Carter. We are a Christian talk show in which we tackle all the hot topics in a believer's walk. It's Fireside Friday. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and be encouraged in the Lord.
My name is Philip Bailey, and I'm your host for the evening, and it is indeed a great pleasure to be here sharing with you. We'd like to welcome you to the Hawkins family's first annual musical and recording. Please welcome the Hawkins family.
I'm going to a place where there'll be no more crying. I'm going to a place where there'll be no more dying. All of my heartaches will be over. Yes, it will. I'm going to a place where I can sit down. Yes, I am. This whole world can't offer me nothing but pain. No, this whole world can't offer me shelter from the rain. All of my heartaches will be over. Yes, you will. I'm going to a place where I can sit down. Ooh, yeah. Sing it, family. Going to a place where there'll be no more crying. I'm going to a place where there'll be no more dying. All of my heartaches will be over. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to a place where I can sit down. Oh, your guitar ready.
Going to a Place, Walter Hawkins, live. That's, let's see, Earth, Wind & Fire produced it. You had Bailey.
Yeah.
And,
White.
Yeah, White and
White.
And you had the
Tower Power
horns.
Yeah.
Was
Them some
amazing.
bad boys.
And amazing. This was the family, though. The family,
Yes.
the Hawkins family.
What is this album?
Yes, amazing album. If you just tuned in, you are listening to our show on gay gender in television. Now, I'm going to play a soundbite here about the beginnings of the censorship, in a sense, and where United Artists come from.
Is Tamara still there?
Yeah, she's still here. You there? You still here, right, Tamara?
I'm here.
Hey, Tamara.
She's always here.
Hey, Alvin.
Y'all did this last week. I can't do this again.
That's right. Next time I'll just go get her.
Yeah, you just go get her. Bring her here. She ain't but 100,000 miles away, so you just
I can drive that far.
Okay, this is called. I'm calling it the United Artists. Pay close attention. Listen to it because I know Art and Alvin, they were around that time, so they understand what's getting ready to happen. Okay, give me a little history. Censorship.
Within 20 years, the population of Los Angeles has increased 8 times its size. A boom directly related to the film industry. The top talent in Hollywood gathers to create their own studio. Together, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, Charlie Chaplin, and D.W. Griffith form United Artists.
They all thought that they should do something to get total creative control and also the financial control. And they were voicing these opinions that maybe we should form our own company to do our own distribution. And that's how United Artists was born.
The lunatics are taking over the asylum. All kinds of barbs were thrown at them. But of course, that was because of the genuine fear the formation of United Artists sent through the industry, sent through those studio moguls. This really threatened what they had claimed was their authority.
United Artists invites their peers to join them in taking control of their art. Italian-born actor Rudolph Valentino is enticed by the promise of financial as well as creative control. After years of frustration with Paramount Studios and with his typecasting, Rudolph Valentino is the first male exotic sex symbol. The Daily Mirror describes him as the personification of irresistible sex magnetism. Valentino is actually very shy and private, and he is embarrassed by the attention. Heaven knows I'm no sheik, he states. I let them play me up as a lounge lizard, a soft, handsome devil whose only sin in life was to sit around and be admired by women.
There was the kind of surrendering of responsibility, that it's this man from another culture, the man with a different morality, a different set of sexual rules, who takes you over against your will. He's the it's not your fault avenue to hot sex.
European charms permeate the screen. Pola Negri is aggressive, defiant, and very modern.
Pola Negri was also a woman who knew who to be for the public. She understood, I need to play my role off screen as well as on. And when she came to Hollywood, she knocked people off their seats with her behavior.
The 1920s give rise to the flapper. This girl isn't frightening. She's fun.
Things started to show, and although there was objections to it, I think the power to change was stronger than the power to repress it. There was a whole revolution for women.
Suddenly, it's okay to appear nude in print, for the sake of art. Nudity is presented as tasteful and beautiful. The advent of art magazines has a lot to do with a new permissiveness, as more and more females drop more and more clothing in print, on the stage, and on the screen.
Yeah, that's how things began to, censorship began to relax. They started off, and then it says, let's pull away. And when they pulled away, then came the United Artists. Douglas Fairbanks, D.W. Griffin, who was the producer of that, one of the most horrible movies ever written today, and that is the Ku Klux Klan,
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Okay, then you had Charlie Chaplin, who was straight up pedo. Okay, he loves little girls. Okay, and Mary Pickford, and then came the Sheik, Rudolph Valentino. They signed him, and then you notice in the clip it talked about how the what do you call the girls, the shakers, not the shakers, the flappers. Okay, and then when the flappers happened, then people realized, okay, art is beautiful, so let's go nude. Now this is the 20s, and I'm playing the 20s now because the 2000s is now back to the 20s. This is the roaring 2000s. Like the roaring 20s. We're going, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
That happened again in the 60s. Yeah. You know, censorship came up in the 30s and said, hold on, you know, Gone with the Wind. That was a scene that was cut out because you could tell that Red was riding on a male horse. It was like, okay, no, that got to go. Then they went to the extremes of husband and wives could not be seen in the same bed. Right. And then you had the rebellion of this coming out of the 50s going into the 60s. 60s was that swing around from the 20s. And then it came back again in the 80s because when they did that 80s show, after the 70s show was so popular, they had a character on there that was, he would always go around and announce that he was bisexual. So this is when the era of Prince and his androgynous look and a few other people, you know, guys, Stoney Jackson and brothers wearing eyeliner. And as Charlie Murphy said, guys who look more like chicks was actually pulling the chicks at that time. And then now you have every 20 years or so, it comes back around. And this time we took about like a 5-year break. Instead of 20 years, it was like 25, almost 30 years. And it's back here rolling really hard again.
And that was my point. And I think we're more 20s than we are 60s. And the reason why is because in the 70s, was the last era where we did this show on All in the Family,
yes,
and Sanford and Son, and some of the things that they said then you couldn't say it anymore in the 80s and the 90s,
right?
On TV, they couldn't write it in the script. It was offensive. Then the political correctness came in, okay, and I think in the last 10 years we're back to the 20s. Because in the 20s, things were hitting them in the face fast and furious.
Because of the influx of technology.
Absolutely. Industrial Revolution just happened.
You have that, but that was freedom in the 60s, like in the 20s, because that's where the whole concept of free love. If you can't be with the one if you can't be with the one you love, and love the one you with.
If you can't be with the one you want,
love the one you with. So we are still back in that. It was anti-establishment, which the 20s was really breaking the norm and confines and everything, because everything, and then after that, everything got so tight, just like everything got so tight here again with this political correctness. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't mention this. There's a thing where some brothers in Texas got upset because on the receipt said 5 black guys. That was offensive. Really?
Yeah. Well, here we have Claire Bowl, okay? We had W.C. Fields. Okay, now
yes, my little chickadee.
Okay, now let me tell you. Now, when W.C. Fields came on the scene, there was no hardcore censorship. He can say and do whatever, because when he teamed up with Mae West, there was a problem. Now, Tamara, this is before your time. Okay, now Alvin and Art was around that time.
That's all right. I'll take that.
I used to love me some Mae West. Now,
what year was you born, Walter?
Well, he's always wanting about 1940, whatever.
Do I have to answer that on the air?
Well, I mean, I don't. If you was born before 65, okay, because I was born at 65.
See. So you was around that time,
right?
Now, I was watching the TV and I was blown away with W.C. Fields. Now I'm gonna say this on my air. On the air is my air. Okay, I'm gonna say this on my air. Okay. And I'm going to say it, and you guys might be shocked when I say it, but I'm just quoting what I saw. All right. Okay.
You're going to be shocked by what you say with Alvin here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Shock me.
Yeah. Tell the baby she had to leave the room right quick. Yeah, tell the baby she had to excuse herself for a minute. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, then here we go. Because I know you and Alvin, you and Art, and y'all in the house. I know that baby done heard a whole lot of stuff. Done heard a whole lot of stuff.
Look at her point at her mama.
Okay, when the censorship was not as hardcore, and here's what it says. Here's what happens. It says that who was the one who wrote the movie 10 Commandments?
Cecil B. DeMille.
Okay. Cecil B. DeMille pushed the envelope by using a lot of shock and awe and sexuality, because the censorship says you can add anything you want in there, but at the end of the movie you must clean it up by saying God does not desire this.
Yep.
Okay? So he says, really? Yes. You can put whatever but at the end, God prevails. Morality prevails. Right. And he says, I'm going to push the limit then. I'm going to go for it. And he did it, and then what it did, it went on for a while. So W.C. Fields was in the car. I think it was Mae West. He's driving in the car. All right, Mae West, I think it was on the passenger side, and they had a pet cat in the car. You already know where I'm going. Okay, he had a pet cat in the car.
I can only imagine with W.C. Fields.
Yeah. Okay, so the cat is in the back seat and they're driving. Now this is like 19. When did he come around? The 30s?
Yeah.
Okay, he's driving.
Well, actually,
all right.
20s into the 30s.
Yeah, and I'm really shocked when I heard this.
All kind of PU quick letter words.
Yeah. And he's driving, and he's a my little chicken there.
Yeah,
okay,
right,
and then the cat jumps in the front seat and jumps on the floor up under Mae West. So it's hard for me to tell it. So he pulls over. He pulls over.
I know.
And he puts his head down on the ground to pick up the cat. And she's like, "What you doing?" He said. He says, "I'm sorry, this is my pussy." Yeah, and I said I fell out of my chair. I said, "This is 1930.
But that's what they used to call cats. In the cartoons, they called them pussy.
But
I thought I put it dad.
But it was a double entendre purposely. It was purposely.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know nothing about those.
It was double entendre.
No, it was, and that was straight from vaudeville.
Yes.
Half of their stand up was double entendres.
Yeah.
And actually, it was like,
what are those?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Vernacular.
Yeah. And I was shocked.
When a word has two meanings.
Yeah,
or
so
a phrase has two meanings.
Right.
I don't know nothing about that.
Okay.
You're right. So speaks the master.
Go ahead, play that Mae West 5. This is Mae West.
Making movies in the period of the Hayes office was a constant negotiation to see what you could get away with and what you couldn't. It was just part of doing business.
There is one woman who not only ignores the censors, but she defies them. Mae West has her own following in the theater. Not only does she star in racy plays, she writes as well as produces them. Mae is not afraid to speak openly about sex. In fact, she builds her entire career around it.
The lasting value and the lasting impact of Mae West is that she liberated the American public from Victorian prudery. And she was all about demolishing the double standard between men and women.
Mae states for the press, "In this enlightened age of ours, the world boasts of the fact that it is more open-minded and more intelligent than it has ever been. Science reveals greater secrets every day, and even God is doubted fearlessly. But the great majority of people are still terribly in the dark when it comes to one of our greatest truths: sex."
She had her own ethics. She proved all the people who lambasted her or put her down for, glorifying the homosexual or the prostitute. She was not the hypocrite that a lot of people were.
In March 1927, Mae West and 23 members of the cast of her play Sex plead not guilty before the grand jury of New York. Mae and her cast are indicted for the production of an allegedly immoral play. "People like to be shocked, so why not shock them?" Mae said. "Where's the harm? And I know what they like, so I give it to them. I wrote the story myself. It's all about a girl who lost her reputation but never missed it." It is only a matter of time before Mae West appears on the motion picture screen, bringing an altogether new type to the world of film. Sexual parody with a seductive voice.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
I see a man in your life.
What, only one?
I changed my mind.
Yeah, does it work any better? Well, when I'm caught between two evils, I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Now, take care of these men.
Yes, give them all my address.
I am delighted. I have heard so much about you.
Yeah, but you can't prove it.
Haven't you ever met a man that can make you happy?
Sure. Lots of times.
What kind of husband does you think I should get?
I should take a single man, leave the husbands alone.
Well, I can always tell a lady when I see one.
Yeah, what do you tell them? I had to shoot a lion once.
Really? Was he mad?
Well, he wasn't exactly pleased about it.
You were wonderful tonight.
I'm always wonderful at night.
Aren't you forgetting that you're married?
I'm doing my best. What's the good of resisting temptation? There'll always be more.
Well, I wish you'd forget your principles, Ruby. I must have you. Your golden hair, your fascinating eyes and alluring smile and lovely arms, your form divine.
Wait a minute. Is this a proposal or you take an inventory?
You certainly know the way to a man's heart.
Funny, too, because I don't know how to cook.
I'm sorry you think more of your diamonds than you do of your soul.
I'm sorry you think more of my soul than you do of my diamonds.
Do I bother you if I look over your shoulder?
No, do I bother you?
I'll never forget you.
No one ever does. Well, it's better to be looked over than overlooked.
Great town, St. Louis. You were born there?
Yes.
What part?
Why, all of me. What'd you do? Get your hair cut or have your ears moved down?
You know I've been mad about you from the first time I laid eyes on you. Well, you're my whole world. What do you want to do, drive me to a madhouse?
No, I'll call you a taxi.
Young lady, are you trying to show contempt for this court?
No, I'm doing my best to hide it.
I wonder what kind of a woman you really are.
Too bad, but I can't give out samples. Why don't you come up sometime, see me?
That was the best of Mae West.
That became a famous line.
Yeah. Why don't you come up and see me? That's just, so what we're giving you here, the beginnings of what you're frustrated with today. Again, a lot of you have no right to be upset about gays kissing on your TV today because you didn't fight it in the 60s and the 70s when they were doing everything else. So now you're upset because you're looking at something deplorable in your eyes that seems to be unnatural, but everything else is supposed to have been unnatural to your eyes. It's supposed to have been. But the 2000s, again, is now the roaring 20s, and Hollywood is back with a vengeance, and America is supporting it because the laws have changed, and now there is a sense of support. When the laws change, there is a sense of support, believe it or not. So you got these changes happening. Now on our TV screens are these shows. For instance, the number of inclusive prime-time broadcast drama series increased significantly from 11 at the beginning of the last season to 26 this year. The number of inclusive comedy series also increased from 16 to 17. On ABC, How to Get Away with Murder introduced a gay law student, Connor, who becomes involved with another gay character. This one a recurring name is Oliver. This past summer, Mistresses saw the arrival of gay friend and business associate Mickey. Scandal will have a new recurring gay actor, and on and on and on. Okay, and this guy on How to Get Away with Murder, he sleeps with guy after guy after guy after guy. All right, Gotham and all these popular shows, and what these gay websites are saying, Fox is the winner of all of them. Fox have more gay characters on it than any other network, and they're proud of it, and they want more. Okay, now we have now Empire, which is a show that a lot of African Americans are flocking to. That show in itself is showing you different aspects of the crazy life of the African American in the eyes of someone who's not African American. For instance, people who are not us look at that show and say, "Oh, that's how they are." Especially if they own a record label, that's who they really are. Mm-hmm. And so you see the gay son. You see the other son who's married to a white woman who then went crazy, okay, because the white woman, she is in her own special way using sexuality to get him to do things. You have, of course, the father who's killing folk and running the business. Then you got Cookie. Well, we know who that is. And he leaves Cookie. He plays with Cookie. He plays with his Cookie. Okay, and then he messed around with this his cake. His cake. Okay, the other woman. All right, and it's just, and it's all written by a homosexual man. Okay, and so he's trying to write these things in because he's trying to let you know, there is an agenda. But one of the things that shocked me is Billy Crystal says that gay scenes on TV is too much for him. It's too much. It's pushing it. Now y'all know what Billy Crystal played.
Yeah. No, there's a whole generation that haven't a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, his show, I was watching it last night, Comedians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was a point in there where they had made a suggestion. He says, I can't do this with him. And the counterpart was like, Billy Crystal he can't do scenes talking about penis.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is the first guy. His first role was a gay guy. And now he has an issue.
Breakout role, yeah.
However, he's a father and a grandfather now. And many times people would do things early in their career to get out there and then realize that it comes back to bite them when their children start asking questions.
Mm-hmm. Billy Crystal, who played one of the television's first ever gay series regular on the comedy called Soap, said today's portrayal of a LGBT character is at times gratuitous. She said, sometimes I think, oh, that's too much for me. The comedian told the audience at the Television Critics Association press tour in Pasadena during a panel discussion for his new show, The Comedians, which premieres on Fox. Crystal played Jody Dallas on the ABC show Soap from 1977 to 1981. It was very difficult at times, he says. Jody was really the first recurring gay character on network television, and it was different. It was a different time in 1977. So yeah, it was awkward. It was tough. Crystal told the audience his groundbreaking performance didn't sit well with some viewers back in the day. I did it in front of a live audience, and there were times when I would say to Bob, I love you. And the audience would laugh nervously. I wanted to stop the taping and go, what's your problem? Okay, and he goes on saying it was a different time. It was jaw-dropping, and even when we were young, we would see it like we would somewhat cringe in our seats to see this character.
Like, what?
What is this? And then came Will and Grace, and y'all said nothing about Will and Grace. Y'all said, well, we got one on there. Let them have that one. Let them have that one. Okay.
I mean, it was something between there, though.
But that was like 20-some years between.
But still, it was huge.
But they had a whole set of steps that they were taking in between this, moving up to that.
That's my
Cable
point.
helped really bring Will and Grace into the forefront with queer as folks.
Queer ass folks. That's right. Queer folks and queer eye for the gay guy.
Right. And you had all these other things on cable, and the network said we got to compete with them, so we pulled this into just regular network television.
You go. I'm going controversy corner. No? Okay. No. Go to a quick break, come right back, and let's let Tim Ham talk.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Log on to UrbanBroadcastMedia.com and check out the many services Urban Broadcast Media provides. Whether it's social media, video production, radio broadcasting, or audio recording, we got you covered. The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries.
Thank you for listening to UBM Praise.
Tamara, help us out with all of this. What's going on? Gara, give us your opinion.
Well, I think that it's being put in front of us, and it's a way to, I guess, get people accustomed to watching things like that on TV. You know, because they have the commercials as well. So it's all a part of their agenda. Put it in your face. You want to intermingle it with heterosexual situations to try to make it like it's normal. I can't appreciate that they do that, but they have to do whatever they have to do to fit in, and that's what's sad about it. I mean, it's very prevalent. As I was listening to those clips that you were playing, you know, it whatever was there, it wasn't like in your face, but now it's all in your face. Yeah. I mean, so what are you going to do?
Right.
Change your channel.
Yeah.
You know, change the channel, because talking about it isn't going to do a bit of good, because, you know, TV is a money maker, different shows are money makers, so they don't really care about what the public says, because what you won't watch, somebody else will.
And you're right. If someone else will, and the TV's programs are there because we are watching them, and when we stop watching them, they go away. Okay, and a lot of Christians, we watch all of those shows that we talk about on Sunday morning in the pulpit. So y'all shouldn't be watching yada 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 yada. Come Monday night,
they nosy and they go to watching it.
They go to watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now here's something surprising. A lot of you don't know, but there's a lot of homosexuality in our cartoons today. You just don't see it.
Oh, I see it.
But there's a lot of subliminal stuff going on.
Monitor it.
Here's a list of animated television programs with LGBT characters. 2014, the network, several networks, this character called Sakura Trick. It's Hakura Takayama Yu Sanada. Apparently, you know,
anime.
It must be
anime.
Anime.
That's a huge culture.
You got the Cartoon Network in 2013. Steven Universe. The character name is Ruby Sapphire. 2012 to 2014, The Legend of Korra on Nickelodeon. Okay, Korra, Asima, and Sato. Most of these is, well, look at 2014.
Well, that's the Legend of, Avatar. Legend continues. The Legend of Korra. And who's gay in there?
Okay, well, Korra is gay. Asami Sato. Okay, I'm not good at Chinese. I mean,
now
not Chinese,
it's also suggested
Japanese.
that samurai men were gay, and that they would only use women for procreation, but it was suggested in that culture, but the samurai would actually copulate with
You're thinking
one another.
about the principles of Bushido.
I don't know about no principle Bushido.
No, that's what it is. That was a particular code, man.
So
for those out there who don't know,
and I'm sorry, I would break that code. But.
Yeah, break the code. FX Networks, the show Chosen. You got on Cartoon Network, Adventure in Time, Princess Bubblegum, Marceline the Vampire Queen. You got Archer from 2009 on the FX channel. Fox had The Cleveland Show. Auntie,
oh my God!
Auntie, Mama, Tubbs, Kevin Tubbs, Terry Kimball,
Family Guy, the baby.
Well,
they play back and forth with Stewie. Stewie is that cute.
You got King of the Hill, Ivan's favorite show, King of the Hill.
You don't tell me I'm gone gay now.
Bud Gribble, Juan Pedro, Carl Jan Jamie. These are gay characters. South Park, of course. Gargoyles, Sailor Moon, and it goes on. The Simpsons, of course. Waylon Smithers, Patty Bouvier, Dewey Largo, Brunella, Pamela Horse, Julio Duffman. All those of you who are big fans, these are gay characters. We ignored it because
gargoyles.
It wasn't in our face. Yeah, gargoyles.
And who? What? You know what? There's like 2 or 3 of them I've heard on that, and like since I was a serious fan of those particular shows, didn't see it in that. But I tell you what show I did see it in: Powerpuff Girls. They had a villain called him, who had on. He was red, had the little pointy chin, like the classic devil, and red fishnets.
Yeah.
And he spoke with a high pitched voice like this. It was like, what in the world?
And they tried to say that about the Teletubby boys or whatever they were.
Tinky Winky.
Tinky Winky.
Because he carried a purse.
Yeah. The 14th.
So did Mike, what's the name from All in the Family?
Sure. Well, we have popular shows here. They said that the LGBT community says that here are their popular shows. The Rachel Maddow Show, of course, that's, I'm not going to say nothing. Anderson Cooper, 360. Well, that's these are not surprises. People, the Fosters, How I Met Your Mother, The Ellen Show. No way, that's impossible. Orange is the New Black. Okay, and let's see. As my internet, Grey's Anatomy. That's no surprise because we know who the writer of Grey's Anatomy is. What's the young lady who wrote Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Grey's Anatomy?
Chandra.
Yeah, she loves the gays. Orphan Black, Scandal, of course. Glee, Modern Family, Under the Dome, Lost Girls, Pretty Little Liars, and that list continues and continues. There's a gay timeline. 1934 was the Children Hour show that on Broadway was the first show, some of the first gay what have you. But I want to go to a place where some of you can recognize. Of course, 1977, we talked about Billy Crystal. 1985, Rock Hudson issued a press release announcing that he has AIDS. His announcement elevates
the world.
AIDS awareness to a whole new level.
Yeah, Linda Evans had a fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doris Day wasn't happy either.
Okay. Angels in America, 1992. 1993 on CBS, Picket Fences, 2 teenage girls kiss. Okay, let's see. And this is an amazing list here. 1995, The Made for TV Serving in Silence airs, featuring Glenn Close and Jody Davis. Another situation there. And then, of course, Ellen comes out.
About 6 Degrees of Separation. With Will Smith.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Kissing that man on that.
Yeah, Will and Grace is 1998, of course. NBC sitcom, Will and Grace debuts. A lot of these, again, you guys ignored it. Rosie O'Donnell comes out as a lesbian and discusses her sexual orientation in 2002. Okay, man, it's a big list here. All you got to do is go on, and then, of course, As the World Turns, 2007, airs the first ever kiss on American daytime TV between 2 gay males. The character Luke Snyder and Noah Mayer are referred to as Nuke by fans. All right, and this is while we look at some of our sitcoms, Lucy gets knocked up, it says here, 1952. Balls pregnant during an entire season. I Love Lucy. The actual word pregnant isn't allowed on the air. This is censorship. They can't even use the word. Elvis pelvis shoved off screen. They wouldn't allow him to gyrate on the Ed Sullivan show.
They showed him from the guitar
60 million.
Yep.
That's right.
There was a sense of class even to even what W.C. Fields and Mae West doing. And here now is just overt and bland.
Oh,
blatant.
it's in your face. 1964 through 1966, censors throw down in the naval wars. Mary Ann from Gilligan Island, Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie, and Gidget are all barred from bearing their navels. If you watch it very closely, you notice that the navels was hardly shown, and then they would try to redress her navel and what have you. Let's see, actors successfully hide pot on the set in 1967 on the Ed Sullivan Show. 1970, studios learned to cope with cannibalism from the sketch from the Monty Python Flying Circus. Y'all know that was on PBS every Sunday night. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
It came on right after Benny Hill
came on Channel 32.
Okay,
well, we eventually become Fox.
We switched over.
But that came over from right after Dave Allen at Large.
1979, Miss Piggy's Ultimate Rejection. The Muppet Show was banned from TV in Saudi Arabia due to Miss Piggy's, her pigness, they saying.
They don't eat pork.
And Kermit was eating a lot of it anyway.
Absolutely. In 2004, we know a little obvious to mention Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction during the Super Bowl, and fines of $550,000, which was no money. Okay, cost the NFL in sponsorship refunds of $10 million. Okay. Again, it's amazing. All the way close to 2004, the censors were trying to kick in. Of course, we know about South Park and its mess, and then the turbulent life of the TV toilet, they're saying. 1957, before it airs, CBS yanks the pilot episode of Leave It to Beaver. Because of its pilot, Wally and the Beav mail order a baby alligator and are forced to hide it in the tank of the family's toilet. CBS finally decides the show can air, but only if all shots of the toilet seats are excised. The toilet tank is left unharmed, marked the first time a toilet, or half of one anyway, appeared on TV. Of course, by the time we get to the All in the Family, you heard the toilet flushing. A lot. Yeah. And then, of course, it was common to see Mary Tyler and her husband, Dick Van Dyke, in two separate beds.
Yes.
With a nightstand in between.
Yes.
It's a shame that it was the Flintstones where you got to see the first married couple in the same bed.
And if they were in the bed, they had to have their foot out of the bed. They had to have one foot out.
Well, that was in the live action.
Huh?
No.
That
was in live action. Fred and Wilma actually got to be in the same bed.
Right.
But the scene would switch soon as one would get in. I mean, the other one was already in. Fred would get in or Wilma would get in, and then the scene would switch over to somewhere else.
Yeah. But on the Lucy show, they had to have one
Right.
foot out. We trying to hook up here to upstairs. What we try to do is every now and then we want to talk to Chris Bates, who's on UBM Talk, and we doing a little segment that we do on our family. Is he on? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Tamara? No, she's gone. Oh, he dropped her. Oh, okay. All right. So Tamara, if you're listening, you got dropped.
I tried to pick you up, baby, but it happened so fast. I'll never let you down again.
We're trying. Basically, you got dropped because T-Mobile is sponsoring this show.
I thought it was Prime Code.
And so it is in our contract to drop all T-Mobile people who. Yeah. I wish they'd have told me that before they dropped my best friend there. So. Yeah. Talks among yourselves while we try to make sense of what's going on here. But let's recap here, okay? Because it's important that we recap. There is again an attack on both sides, and the gay community is telling you guys that you're too harsh, you don't show love. Tamara's back. Bass.
So he
Okay.
is the host
Oh.
of Sir Walter Jones on UBM Praise. How you doing, sir?
Bass in the place. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I am great. I told everybody before that I cleared the air about how you were able to, I thought you had named yourself Sir, and you did not.
No, I did not.
Somebody else named you Sir.
That's right.
And so I figured, we had to clear the air on that because, like I said before, I couldn't understand how that happened. But since you explained it.
Yes.
You don't see all the cuts on his face?
Yeah. And I'm glad you cleared the air because I don't know if you got any guests in your room up there in the studio.
No, it's just me.
Good. Then you cleared the air. That's good because
he cleared the room.
Wait, hold on a second.
He missed it.
No. Back up. Are you saying I farted?
Speaking of censors,
we're Christians. We don't do that.
We don't do that. We're Christians.
Christians don't fart.
No.
I'm sorry. Y'all bless first and then fart.
No.
I'm sorry.
It's called a mighty Russian wind.
Right. How you doing, Bass?
Well, I don't know.
I have no clue either. I'm not sure what we do.
Look, I am not Joe Frazier.
You're not.
You come out here swinging on me.
Well, I tell you, one good swing deserves another.
No, I ain't no swinger.
No, and right, because what a wonderful segue into the show we're talking about today. Hey,
Sure.
What is your favorite show on TV today?
My favorite show?
Uh-huh.
I would probably just say How to Get Away with Murder.
Yep, you've been bit. You've been bit. Because
Been bit by what, sir?
Well, you've been bit by the gays.
I've been bit by what?
He's nervous. No, you don't have to go get a shot, nothing like that. But today's topic is Today's topic is what is the gay agenda on television? And as you know, because I watched that show too, I watch it for psychological reasons because I do a psychological show. And as you know, there's one character on there is a gay man.
Right.
And every time you turn around, he's sleeping with somebody else.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's trying to win some cases, so he has to sleep with a lot of if he's trying to get some evidence, he sleep with the guys so that he can get evidence.
Wow.
Okay, right. If you're a fan, you know what we're talking about. And it's almost like it's pushed in our faces what people are saying. The whole agenda is pushed in our face. But what my point was on my show today was immorality has been pushed in our faces since there was a television. It wasn't just gay. It's been all kind of stuff. I mean, men have been cheating on their wives on TV, daytime and nighttime, souls forever.
Right.
Is my point. But since there is an agenda in gayness, we decided to bring it up and talk about censorship, and we took the people all the way back to the very beginning, like the Roaring '20s, and W.C. Fields, Mae West, even Betty Boop, the cartoon,
yeah, and
Popeye, Clara Bow, and Douglas Fairbanks, D.W. Griffin, Charlie Chaplin. We going way back. Mary Pickford. A lot of that stuff was questionable back in that time. What do you think about that?
Well, you make a very valid point. I'm still good over the fact that you said I was bit.
Two more. You know what they say? After 3 bites, you become one.
Wait, back up. 3 bites, you what?
You become one.
Yeah, after 3 bites. Yeah. How many licks does it take to get through a Tootsie Roll Pop? The world may never know.
No, well, hold on a second. You know what's some Christians? Y'all some nasty ass I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, we got it.
I know it's too late. I allow myself at least one nasty word on your program.
Thank you. I appreciate the one.
But why that one?
Yeah, why that one?
Talking gay, you gonna say the anus?
No, seriously, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
I do agree with what you're saying. I don't like the fact that if I'm watching, say, an episode of Murder, when whatever you do as far as like behind closed doors, your business, since we're watching on television, I don't like the fact that it has to be rough.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden they have to grab each other and just beat the hell out of each other and just, that type of thing, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual.
Right.
Like, we're having a good old-fashioned romance and,
right.
Here's a flower, have some steak. And,
I don't even want to see that.
Flappers.
But you don't see it. It's all rough, rugged type of stuff, and that can make anybody feel uncomfortable watching.
That's true.
And Brokeback Mountain.
And I think that's why the people saying it's being pushed in my face because it's
you got to push
because it's rough. And I think Alvin made a point about when a woman is lesbian or she's what they call a butch or something like that. She overdoes the man part.
Yes.
And the man who's effeminate, he's very effeminate.
They overdo it.
They overdo it.
It's perverted.
Yeah, they're flaming, and they want you to know I'm gay, and I really need you to see that I'm gay. They overcompensate, and that's what makes people want to vomit when they see that. Not all gays that way, because I know some gays who look just like Alvin, who just as plain looking as possible. But don't you come to his house for some. Okay,
ain't no sugar in my house.
Agave.
Right. So we're not. This show is not about gay. We're not gay bashing at all. We're educating you on the agenda of the gays, like we did on the agenda of politics, of mayors and governors. The agenda of anybody who has a lifestyle or platform.
So now we see that there is an agenda and they're forcing it.
Mm-hmm.
What is the ultimate point of the agenda? To let us know that they exist? We've always known that they exist. Or, acceptance. There's never going to be total acceptance.
No.
So I'm trying. What did we resolve? What is the agenda? Or is the agenda a subtle agenda for another outcome that they don't even expect?
I don't think they know what's going to happen next.
They don't know what's going to happen next. And some of them really don't know what it is that they're trying to acquire. They say they want this, but once they get it, are they going to be satisfied?
Even with the publicizing of parenting and all these things, how do you want heterosexual things and you don't want to be heterosexual?
Mm-hmm.
So all of these antithetical realities within the community just don't make sense to me.
What do you think, Bass?
Well, I think it goes also back to the bottom line. When you look at the perspective of advertisers on these television stations, all of a sudden, hey, gays and lesbian transgenders, they spend money too.
Right.
So let's provide programming to cater to that so we won't lose that dollar as well.
Now, it's funny you mentioned that because earlier I was going to ask the question, do you see a correlation of the Roaring 20s was followed by the Great Depression?
Sure.
The 60s was followed by the Great Fall of the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
2000s was followed by the Great Recession of the 10s.
Yes, we're in a cycle.
Right, so it's a cycle. So, yes, perversion spins or sex sells, but it's a short sale.
Yeah, that's good. It is a short sale. Yeah,
acceptance and excessive acceptance.
So it's fast money.
Right. Yeah, it's a Roman sale.
It's funny you mentioned Roman because that was part of the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
All that perversion.
Yeah.
It's like he was listening to our show.
Yeah.
Actually, man, if you look back through every major empire, even the British Empire, you will find out that they all go through this particular. This is a cycle that it's fallen into.
Right.
Of course, the church people are just going to go ahead and run straight to Revelations on this, but
sure. Yeah, and yeah. So that's what we were talking about today. And I know we don't do a whole lot of shows like this because it can be monotonous because people are already upset, So we try to be well-rounded throughout the week. We talk about any and everything. And let me tell you, Bass, there's some people today who gonna listen to the show or the rebroadcast and say, "Man, y'all, what's going on with all this gay stuff? Y'all always talking about." We did 3 shows on the gays, and we've been on the air since October. 3.
In all seriousness to the both of you, I applaud what you're doing because, when you do topics like this, you always have to prepare, of course, for the opposing view.
Right.
And in your situation, it comes from a spiritual and biblical perspective. You get the people who are really into their Bible, who subscribe to it 100%, and what you're saying, automatically you're wrong. But I think you do a service to opening up the conversation about it because you cannot deny the fact that there are people out there who happen to be gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, just stating the obvious. And so when you have dialogue like this, at least it starts conversation. So, you guys are just doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's the whole point of the show, is to spark conversation, talk about it. Then sometimes we don't have a resolve. My point is, let's bring it on the table and let y'all see stuff that's in your face and you don't even know it's right there.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it's going to make you more saved than the next guy. It just means there's some information. Yeah, you want to know about it. You might want to know about it. If you don't want to know about it, that's fine. You can turn this off like you can turn off Scandal. You know,
yeah,
and they ain't turning that off.
No, Scandal is turned off.
No.
I missed it yesterday.
You see what I'm saying? I got a co-host.
You ain't no fan.
Yeah. Bass, we love you, man.
I love you too. Hey, Sir Walter, tell everybody where they can find your program at, sir.
Oh, absolutely. You could go on your app, download that app, the UBM app, the Urban Broadcast Media app, and we're on the praise section, okay? A lot of people, they download the app, and the first thing that comes on is talk. That's bass, what y'all be hearing. That's talk.
You poor people.
You poor people be hearing bass. Y'all be like, Walter, your voice has got deeper. And you cussing.
Ain't that
Yeah. And so that's bass. And we on the praise.
Spreaker also.
Yeah. Or you can go to Spreaker.com, 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 and hear all my shows. Every show is up there. And just type in the Sir Walter Jones Show, and there we are.
Very good. Man, I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes, and
yes, sir.
Thank you for doing the crosstalk. Maybe we got to work on this as a regular thing. We got to talk to UBM management. Try to get this thing up.
Let's make it happen. We will make it happen, and I will have a beat button ready for you, okay?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
All right, then talk to you soon.
See you, Doc. Peace.
You got it, man.
The great bass from upstairs. I got to go. Got another show starting here. Keep listening in and want to hear some good word of God and some good music. Don't go nowhere. They're here. Monday, we got Sonia Blakely on the show. She'll be in 4:30. There's a big thing getting ready to happen. We got the Gospel Music Fest about to kick off. We got press passes. Y'all come down there and see us. All right? Monday Men Chronicles. I got to get out of here. Go to Spreaker.com.
You've been listening to the Sir Walter Jones Radio Show, where he provides you with a biblical perspective for your everyday life. Stay connected to Sir Walter Jones by visiting him online at www.sirwalterjones.com or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Sir Walter Jones Show. Stay tuned until next time with the Sir Walter Jones Show with Sir Walter Jones.